Alright, how's it going everyone? Welcome back to Blizcon 2019. Just waiting for the World of Warcraft What's Next panel to start up so we can go through it and sort of discuss everything that's coming up and seeing just how awesome it is. Obviously I've already seen the Shadowbringers announcement, which is really cool. But let's find out more, shall we? I'm sure as hell interested on seeing just the new systems, the new things that they're going to bring in, the whole sort of working for factions, consignments or whatever they called it. Be really cool. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the ride. Let me know in the comments before it gets, well, during, after, whenever you feel fit to tell me how you feel about the current situation and how you think things are going to work, and the good, the bad, the ugly, and as always, we'll jump right in.
Blizcon!
What's up?
Hello once again. It's been so long.
Hey, Ian.
All right. I love you all too. This is the best. Shadowlands. Like Diablo 4, we can finally say it out loud. And this is the time to tell you a bit more about where we're going.
Excellent.
And what is next in World of Warcraft.
Cool.
So, last time on World of Warcraft, this happened. The sky shattered, and we are left staring across the veil.
That's such a cool visual.
Life and death into a small piece of the Shadowlands.
I hope that's animated in
What
world.
does that mean for us exactly? So this panel is going to be a little bit different from some of the past expansion What's Next panels.
Oh, okay.
Because this isn't one of those expansions where it's like, okay, we are getting on a ship and sailing off to this new continent that's part of Azeroth that map makers have mysteriously ignored for the last 10 years. We are going to another plane of existence, effectively. We are going to the realm of death, to the afterlife. And so I need to also lay out some of the ground rules for how this whole place works. So bear with me, and then we'll put it all together at the end. There's a couple things where I'm going to gloss over some details because we have a deep dive panel tomorrow where a few of my colleagues are going to go much more in depth on some of the features and systems. Anyway, let's get going. So, for the lore nerds out in the crowd,
lordy.
You may recognize this, the Warcraft cosmology, which lays out the 6 primal forces that define the Warcraft universe. We have light and shadow, order and disorder, and yes, life and death. And so, where and what is the Shadowlands? It's right there. It's been right there in front of us this whole time. Just on the edge of reality, separated from us by this veil.
And you got the Emerald Dream on the other side. Interesting.
So, to kick things off, let's talk about, some light topics, like what happens to us after we die.
Yeah, well.
In Azeroth or other worlds of Warcraft, anyway. So, when death comes, a soul crosses between life and death. Spirit Healer makes that determination. And a winged bearer comes to bring the soul into the Shadowlands.
Just happens every time, though.
And souls come before a mysterious entity, an ancient entity, known only as the Arbiter.
Why have we not seen that?
The Arbiter, since time immemorial, has functioned in this capacity. And when that soul comes before her, in a fraction of a second, every one of the contents of that soul is laid bare before her. All the deeds, the misdeeds, the thoughts, the aspirations, the triumphs, and the failures are felt, absorbed, and understood by the Arbiter. And the Arbiter sends that soul off.
I imagine the Arbiter is going to have like a huge story impact, obviously.
Each one of which is ruled over by a powerful covenant, a ruling force within the Shadowlands.
Okay, so you get judged.
This will matter more in a second, but each soul brings with it a powerful source of energy known as anima. This is a vital force that is the product of all of that soul's experiences, all that they have done in life. Great souls, whether for good or for evil, have a lot of anima, and ones who've lived smaller, more humble lives have less. But folks like Varian, Garrosh, certainly Arthas, the former Lich King.
Are we going to get Arthas in the Shadowlands?
Ironically,
He's in the void
lifeblood
though,
of
isn't
the
he? Like the.
Shadowlands. In this land of death, it's the force that makes the trees here grow and rivers flow. It's the source that's drawn upon to conduct the magic of death, and much more. And that's going to be essential to understanding this world. So as I mentioned, the Shadowlands has infinite realms, but our journey initially will focus on a few of them.
Okay,
We
that's.
see Revendreth, Ardenweald, Bastion, and Maldraxxus
Are they
as
joined
four
though?
major realms. Oribos, a city which stands in the center of it all,
It's like a hub.
and this mysterious region known only as the Maw. Let's start talking about them.
Okay.
So first off, Bastion. Now this, for each
So
of these
that it
zones,
was
we're gonna
leaked. That
start
leak
by
was
showing
accurate.
a piece of our internal concept art that helped define the look and the feel of the zone, and then we'll see how that turned into reality within the game. So this piece, which I'm sure you're all seeing for the very first time as an exclusive
Well.
part of Blizcon, reflects our artist's early take on the splendor of Bastion.
It is gorgeous.
Bastion is ruled over by the Kyrian Covenant. Now, the Kyrian are the forebears of the Valkyr and the Spirit Healers and more. The Kyrian are ordered and purposeful, and the souls that find their way here, that are sent here by the Arbiter, are ones that had some natural calling in life to service in one form or another.
I wonder if you get to choose which
come here
covenant, or
fully
whether
ready
it like
to
chooses
assume
for
their
you.
ascendant
Surely
role
it
as a Kyrian.
can't.
Souls come with burdens, and a lot of what goes on in Bastion is meditation, reflection, understanding self through combat and other means to shed those burdens and be ready to ascend to an eternity of service in the afterlife as a Valkyr or a Spirit Healer.
See, that's
Or
cool.
one of a
That's
couple of other
really,
gods.
really, really cool.
An example of a soul that might be familiar to us who ended up in Bastion is Uther, the Lightbringer. And
Oh,
we will be
shit.
encountering him,
Okay.
among others, in our journey
Ooh.
through Bastion.
That's going to be interesting. I'm sure he has a fair bit to say.
And of course, if you haven't had a chance to check it out yet, Bastion is the zone that's playable here on the show floor today. So here is a look at some of the environments of Bastion, glowing, resplendent, very much distant from the dark and dreary images that might have been conjured up when you first heard the words Shadowlands.
It's very
The land
beautiful.
of death is not all darkness. There's a distinction there. Next.
Speaking of
A bit
which,
of a darker place. The
yeah.
zone of Maldraxxus. So Maldraxxus, as initially defined in this concept, is ruled over by the Necrolord Covenant, and it reflects the heart of the Shadowlands' military might. The souls here defend the Shadowlands from external forces and wage war on the enemies of
Not
death.
strictly evil.
These are the forces
Just
that
some.
were called upon by the Lich King, by his servants Kel'Thuzad and others, and we've seen a piece of that. Now, while at a glance, okay, undead, rot, decay, this seems like, okay, these are all evil guys. That's not necessarily what Maldraxxus is about. While this power certainly can be used for evil, at its core really is more about just a relentless spirit, unyielding search and pursuit of power, strength, inward and outward. And an example of a soul that ended up in Maldraxxus is actually the warlord Draka,
Oh.
or Thrall, who,
Oh,
certainly
really? But
not an evil, wicked soul, was one who would never kneel, never bow before
See,
another.
I'd like to
He
join
was
them, but I
actually
don't
ascended
know
to
if
the
that's the
position of
hero
some
figure
prominence
I'd
within
be
Maldraxxus,
interested in.
as we will discover when we journey there. Let's take a look at how this is coming together. If you think of
You know, like some
Legion
ziggurats going
as
on.
the old Burning Crusade look and feel, dialed up to
Ziggurat?
11,
Ziggurat.
Maldraxxus is very much Eastern Plaguelands, the Scourge, and more, taken to the nth degree.
Yeah.
This is the source of that power, and much more. Next, Ardenweald.
This place is gorgeous.
Ardenweald is an enchanted fairy forest, and that was what we were setting out to create, and this concept...
At least it's
by our
vastly
team
different,
really
the
helped
environments.
define that look
I'm going to
and
get
general
dull,
vibe that we were
at
going for.
least.
Ardenweald is ruled over by the Night Fae, and we are familiar with the Emerald Dream, those of you who are druids, maybe more so than most. And if we think of the Emerald Dream as a reflection of the spring and the summer, part of nature's cycle,
Okay, I see. So it's the
Ardenweald
dark
reflects
version.
autumn and winter. It's a place of rest, yes, of death.
I hope those
Also,
aren't
of
like
preparation
like
for
that's some
eventual
like
rebirth.
real furry
Because the journey into the
character
Shadowlands isn't necessarily a one-way
art.
journey.
I mean, I guess human
And
face,
spirits of nature
bit
are
weird.
the ones who are called powerfully to Ardenweald, and most of them come here to rest and to prepare to serve the wilds once more. An example of a powerful, well-known soul who ended up in Ardenweald is actually the demigod Cenarius. When he fell before
shit.
the axes of Grommash Hellscream and his band of fel-infused orcs, his soul passed into Ardenweald.
Damn, that's
rested,
interesting.
recovered, and returned to serve the wilds in a time of need.
So they're
during the
really
events
going deep on the
of
old
Cataclysm.
lore characters, which is cool.
So here's a look at how that general, those concepts have been translated into in-world environments. As you look up in Ardenweald,
Yeah.
you're looking
See,
at the
that's
underside of
so
canopies of
dope.
magical ancient trees that almost look like
Imagine the sky
starry-night
biome
skies.
is going to be epic.
But there are also some parts of Ardenweald that aren't faring quite as well, that also reflect some sorts of powers that we may have seen recently, especially for those of you who are playing Alliance in Battle for Azeroth, because Ardenweald is also deeply connected to the Drust, who come from the Land of Death. Fourth up, Revendreth. Revendreth is awesome. It's basically just a creepy gothic zone, miasma,
That sounds cool.
soaring castles, villages
Diablo?
under shadow, and terrors and horrors lurking around every corner. Revendreth is ruled over by the Venthyr. This is
Vampires.
our fourth major covenant. And Revendreth, unlike the other realms, maybe isn't the place that you would want to go or hope to go as a soul passing into the Shadowlands. The souls that the Arbiter has sent to Revendreth over the years tend to be the ones that have some flaw, whether it's pride or some other problem that's kind of blocking them, that's hindering their ability to serve the Shadowlands
Like
in one
what?
of the other known paths.
Why would you choose
They
them
come
then?
to Revendreth to atone, to do penance for their misdeeds, and potentially to be redeemed and to move on to one of the other
Is this
realms,
who's going to be the leader
or
of this?
perhaps not. Revendreth is not
Is it gonna be
particularly fun
Garrosh?
place to be. It's an essential part of the engine of death that is the Shadowlands. An example of a soul that came here and whom we will encounter in our journeys is none other than Kael'thas Sunstrided.
Oh shit! That's awesome.
Who, after a setback or two, found his way to this dark land. So here we see
That's
sort
awesome.
of a look at the landscape, the silhouette of the spires that define the environment.
It's very spooky.
This is one of my favorite zones. I can't wait to explore it. I can't wait for all of you to check it out. There are also parts of Revendreth where the light has actually broken through the clouds and
That's
seared the
cool.
earth, and some are actually caged up here because exposure to the light does horrible, horrible things to many of the souls.
Literally vampires. Okay. That's cool.
Okay, so I've used the word covenant a whole lot.
Yeah, here we go.
What is a covenant?
Is it just an
A
order hall?
covenant is the ruling power of the Shadowlands. There are four major ones we're going to be encountering: the Curians in Bastion, the Necrolords in Maldraxxus, the Night Fae of Ardenweald, and the Venthyr of Revendreth, as described.
So are they just quest
Covenants
hubs? You have to do all
also
four?
Really the number one major feature of Shadowlands. I think in Battle for Azeroth, we had a few different smaller features. We had islands, we had the Heart of Azeroth, we had warfronts. Covenants are more like a garrison or an artifact in the sense of being what we call internally a build-around feature. They're
Hell
integrated
yes.
into every aspect of the game, and they're an essential part of
Sounds
your
good to
journey,
me.
your progression,
Sounds
your
good.
power, and more.
You
Each of
had me
these
at Garrison.
covenants, as you encounter them in your journeys, will seek your aid, because you are a powerful, mighty hero who comes with some unique abilities, seeing as you actually are tethered to the land of the living,
Right,
and you are
so-
coming alive. from
Yeah,
Azeroth,
you will go
which
through
we'll
all
get to
four
in
of
a
them.
second.
But I wonder if you pick one
And
as
of
your
course, in
main one.
exchange for this, each one of them offers access to their power and a variety of rewards.
That's cool.
And so each of you will have to make a fateful choice. Which covenant will you join? Let's take a look at what that will mean for you.
So, be questing all
Covenant
four?
entails multiple things.
Okay,
First
so
off,
endgame.
each covenant has its own large narrative endgame arc. So in Battle for Azeroth, we had the Horde War campaign and the Alliance War campaign. In Shadowlands, we have 4 of those.
That's
Each
cool.
one opens up at max level, depending on your choice, and will lead you through the world in different ways as you unravel the mysteries of the Shadowlands, but do so in pursuit of your Covenant's goals and working to empower them
Oh
and
my.
yourself.
Look at that, mate. Jeez.
Each Covenant also brings with it 2 active abilities. One of these is class-specific. It's a combat ability that will change your moment
Okay.
gameplay.
That's cool.
The other one is a universal ability that all members of that Covenant will share. And if you check out the demo here today for Bastion, you can see the Kyrian abilities for any given class and mess around with them.
Awesome.
Next, Covenants bring with them an endgame progression system.
Soulbinds.
It's a ritual known as soul binding, where as a member of a Covenant, you can bond your soul to a powerful denizen of the Shadowlands, enhancing your abilities, unlocking new ones, and having a ton of customization there.
Cool.
At a glance, I know this sounds like, okay, this is the artifact system, this is the Heart of Azeroth for this expansion. In some ways, it builds upon lessons learned from both of those. First and foremost, there is no artifact power to grind.
Oh, thank God. Yes, thank you.
Because honestly, like that was an essential starting point for us when designing the system. I think one of the lessons we learned from Legion onwards is there is something great about having endgame goals and customization and things to work towards.
100%.
To not just have the things that modify your character,
But not gating shit. So, yeah.
The flip side is, despite systems of diminishing returns and the other things we had in place in Legion and BFA, there's no question that there are social pressures. There are things that make it feel bad to play alts, where if you're not doing X amount of things every week, you feel like you're falling behind. You're letting your team down, or you're letting your own character down.
At least I get it. They're open with it. That's good.
We want to have a world where you can have goals to work towards, customization, differentiation, without the grind.
Yeah, 100%. Excellent. Super hype.
We'll be talking more about Covenants in our deep dive panel tomorrow, but that's an essential piece of this.
Excellent. That's really good news. I'm happy to hear that.
And of course, alongside the power, is also a wide array of cosmetic rewards
that
each Covenant has.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Some of the armor sets in the expansion trailer, and there's a whole lot more beyond that. Each Covenant also has a home base, effectively.
Oh, yes!
In some ways between the Legion class hall, but also the general feeling that you might have had back in Legion playing through Suramar and restoring Shalaran and building it up from this dingy, dusty, dark hole in the ground into a base with a teleportation network and allies that you'd recruited.
Yes. Sounds good to me.
Power, you will benefit from that, but you'll also be making choices along the way. Let's take a look at some of these rewards. So, if you join the Kyrian, let's say you're a warrior, this might be the plate set of armor that you can earn, a mount that you can earn, the active ability that all Kyrian warriors will have, Spear of Bastion. If you joined the Venthyr or you joined the Night Fae, you would have a different ability there. And Unburden, a utility movement ability that all members of the Kyrian Covenant will have. With Covenant rewards, we're also looking at exploring some new cosmetic options. Recently, we've seen a couple of fun cloak replacements in the form of a backpack or totems on the Tauren Heritage armor. We want to do more with that to really change your silhouette. So,
oh no, that's dope. Oh, I kind of really want my pally to be part of that. That's so cool.
Will offer a set of cloak replacements or back attachments. So whether you want, a halo or a pair of wings, or depending on the different Covenants that you're joining,
that's awesome.
Different aesthetic entirely, you can pick the one that best suits you. Okay, so Covenants. Taking a step back, let's get back to the world for a moment. So I mentioned the 4 zones.
They're smashing it so far. This is great.
At the center of it all rests Oribos. Oribos is a city that, again, predates memory. It is of an unknown construction.
I just hope I can get those cosmetics without having to dedicate myself to that one faction.
That really fuels the machine that is the Shadowlands. And that has drawn to it, over the millennia, all manner of beings across the Shadowlands, and even some from other dimensions. Brokers and soul traders come here to wheel and deal. The politics of this entire dimension
soul traders
center on this bustling city,
it's like
the heart of the
people
Shadowlands.
Traders.
And this will also serve as our sanctuary city, our main player hub in our adventures through the Shadowlands. Khadgar wanted to bring Dalaran through, but we figured There was already a city there. Not needed.
Enough Dalaran, yeah.
Last zone. This mysterious
The
place
Maw.
known as the Maw. So, to our knowledge anyway, there is no covenant. But our knowledge is very, very limited about this place. You see, the Maw is a swirling vortex of darkness, almost like a black hole. And precious few souls over the eons, the Arbiter would send directly.
Nothing has
into the Maw.
ever escaped, huh?
Those were seen as the most tainted, the most irredeemable, the darkest, most dangerous souls.
Is this gonna be like
Assigned to the
Arthas
Maw
and like... I'm
as
so
much
keen
for
to
their
see
own
who's here.
potential punishment as to protect the Shadowlands from what they could otherwise bring with them. Thus, the Maw is a mystery to even the natives of the Shadowlands, even the ancient ones.
I'm so
It's
keen to
known
jump
to
in this
have
expansion
who
already.
whispers, a ruler known only as the Jailer, but the Jailer is almost like the boogeyman of the Shadowlands. Right?
Is
The
that who
Whisperer is the
Sylvanas was
figure of
with in the
children's
cinematic?
tales
Or
that,
the
oh,
intro?
big bad Jailer is going to get you locked away in the Maw. But basically, nothing is known because nothing has ever escaped the Maw. Journeying into the Maw is one way. Of course, we're going to have to go there. Otherwise, I wouldn't be telling you this.
Yeah, right.
That's how it's going to work. Okay, so what I just described
Sylvanas.
is how the machinery of death has functioned throughout World of Warcraft's history, throughout the universe's history. But that's not how it's working right now. Death itself is broken. Instead of coming before the Arbiter and filtering out all the realms of the Shadowlands, all souls that have shuffled off this mortal toil in recent years have been pulled inexorably directly into the Maw, strengthening it, causing it to grow, to swell like a tremendous maelstrom. That also means that the other realms of the Shadowlands are starved of this essential force.
Dope.
That souls
That's
bring
cool.
with them. There's a drought afflicting the entire Shadowlands. The Shadowlands
Sounds like
are
my local
withering
country.
as the Maw grows. Now, what is Sylvanas' role in all of this, you may wonder? She,
Yes.
after all, is the one who set these events in motion. And I know Sylvanas has been an enigma to many for a long time.
Unless
She
you
at
read all
times
the
can be an inspiring
external
figure,
content.
But then at other times, especially recently, it has seemed like her actions were calculated to cause the maximum...
She does not look too happy about that.
All right. So yeah, slightly contentious issues here.
Slightly. Look
But
at my
to me,
last
recently,
video.
It seemed like her actions were calculated to cause the maximum amount of death possible. What if they were? And who is this mysterious figure?
Yeah,
we
who's
saw
that?
briefly a glimpse of in
Is
the
that
teaser
Death?
trailer earlier today. It's not Arthas. Arthas is dead. I'm sorry. But this is the mysterious Jailer.
Yeah,
inside the
I
Maw.
figured as much.
And this is not Sylvanas' master. She doesn't have a master. She is above that. She is beyond that.
Yeah.
But this is a power with whom she is in league. They are partners with a common end that we will discover in time. And many have wondered, how has Sylvanas grown so powerful in recent years? How did she go from a mighty Dark
Are the
Ranger,
souls
but one who had
funneling
to
into
flee
her
the Lich
power?
King back in Wrath of the Lich King when you confronted them in the dungeon, to one who could stand up, smite Saurfang, and face off against Bolvar? It's because through her allegiance to one of these Lords of Death, as the power of death has been growing, as the power of the Maw and the Jailer have been growing, so too have her own powers.
That's dope.
And that is a
That's
taste of
cool.
power
That
she's
is
got
really
on.
cool.
And that's part of what awaits us. Okay, now putting this all together. So, expansion launches. Just before the expansion launches, we have, pre-patch events as we enjoy having to get people up to speed, get you caught up, maybe help leveling some alts here and there. This time around, as we've said, and as we've been told by Tyrannus, the Helm of Domination worn by the Lich King was essential to keep the undead of
Oh,
Azeroth
shit,
in check, to
true.
keep them under control. Well, without it, what are they doing? They're rampaging
Yeah,
throughout the world.
shit. I forgot about
And
that.
so there's sort of a Scourge Invasion 2.0 that we're cooking up that will set the stage for the journey that awaits us. So in the weeks leading up to Shadowlands, as the heroes of Azeroth fight to defend their homes and families and friends from the rampaging undead, they will also muster their forces to make for Icecrown and try to attack the source of this evil where it began. A key leader in this is actually going to be Bolvar himself. He
Okay.
did not die. He was defeated.
He's gonna want revenge, though. That sucks. Eh.
But he actually offers us some unique insight into this situation. Because he actually, more than any other being, has one foot in each realm and understands them both. When he was seared by the dragonfire of Alexstrasza, he was infused with the power and the energy of life. That's what was able to allow him to keep the powers of the undead at bay as he wore this helm. But having worn the helm, he has seen into the other world and understands what awaits us.
I just really hope they don't make Sylvanas a raid boss. I feel like it's just
over into that world.
It's cheap.
To understand what's going on there and to have a chance at saving our own. And so we will make for Icecrown, we will cross over, and we will end up in the Maw, because that's where everything that goes into the Shadowlands is going. And our journey ends there. It's a really short expansion.
Wow.
Obviously not. So we
until now. So we escaped from the Maw.
With a unique bond to the world soul of Azeroth herself, find ourselves uniquely able to escape the Maw. Not all who come with us will be able to escape. Some of our friends and great champions of Azeroth will be trapped behind. But we escape, and we move on to Oribos, where we begin to learn about the nature of this new world and set out.
Yeah, so it takes you through all 4 zones. That's fair enough. Of course.
Bastion, Maldraxxus, Ardenweald, and Revendreth.
Oh, so it isn't
So
pick your own
unlike the last
adventure.
couple of expansions, we want to get back to
You're
having
guided.
a strong narrative arc that can span multiple zones. And so all people entering the Shadowlands will go on this journey.
Right.
As you do this, you're going to work with each zone's powers, with each zone's covenant. As you earn their trust initially, they'll let you borrow their powers, so you can actually play with the active abilities that you'll have down the line. You get
That's
a sense
cool.
of
So you get to
what your
choose and
covenant's
pick what.
ethos is, their aesthetic.
That's cool.
And all this is as you're learning about the world, as you are trying to understand the foes that face you and defeat them, you're also getting prepared for a fateful choice. Which covenant do you want to join? Because that's the big choice that awaits you at max level.
That's cool.
Exactly. You will choose one of them. And after joining that covenant, you have its powers permanently, your covenant campaign begins.
But can you
and move into the
change?
endgame.
That's
Now,
what I want to know.
That's how it's going to go your first time through. But what about alts, you may ask? So one of the big things that we got out of non-linear leveling in Legion and BFA was flexibility when you're leveling your alts. You can have a different journey on one character versus another. But what we lost was the ability to tell a single, strong narrative story. We want to get the best of both worlds this time around. And so on your alts, once you have one character that's made it through this journey a single time, we want to say, well, we know, breaking the fourth wall for a second, that you as a player, you understand how the world works. We don't need to teach you how covenants work. We don't need to teach you about the Shadowlands.
Go on.
So let's just let you pick a covenant right away. If
Oh.
That's what you want to do.
Oh, shit. That's cool.
And so you'll have access to their powers permanently. And on an alt, you can level up through any of the zones in any order that you want. You can do the narrative.
Oh, you
campaign
can do
if
world
you
quests
want
as
to,
well?
Or you could go to Revendreth first. Or you could spam dungeons, or battlegrounds, or whatever.
That's
Maybe
awesome.
Like world quests will also be available.
That's
Ultimately,
awesome.
it's
That
limiting
is
the maximum number of
so,
options.
so good.
And finally, you're welcome.
That's excellent. I might actually level alts now for
And
once.
finally, I think one of the questions we ask ourselves is like, well, obviously,
And you can
one of the
earn-
things with
ah.
playing alts is there's a sense of wanting to rush through to get to the end game as quickly
That's
as
perfect.
possible.
That's
And why is that?
perfect.
And it's not just a WoW issue. It's something that happens in many other games too. A lot of the time, once you've been to endgame, you realize that a lot of things before then don't matter. And so why spend your time on things that don't matter when you should rush and get to the things that do? Well, why does it have to be that way? What if you could begin progressing on your various
That's
endgame
awesome.
systems,
That's so
unlocking
good.
powers with your soul binds and more, as you're leveling up. So of course you're still, getting your levels, progressing through that story, getting your character stronger, but the progression that you earn will matter at endgame, and you'll be meaningfully ahead of where you were when you first hit max level on your first character.
Yeah, that's excellent. That's so good. Like, it's one of the problems I've had for so long.
Okay, so back to our max level experience. So we've seen a glimpse of the Maw when we first arrived in the Shadowlands, and then we'll probably visit it a couple more times over the course of level up, learning a little bit more about it since we have this unique power to go in and out. But at max level, what is the Maw? So the Maw is
Okay, so it's the endgame zone.
Terrifying place.
Freeform outdoor gameplay.
We go to those all the time.
Is that sort of like Mechagon?
Not too long ago, we were fighting on the homeworld of the Burning Legion in the shadow of their great fortress. And coincidentally, we always manage to find a friendly innkeeper who will sell us water and let us bind our hearthstones. Doesn't matter how evil the place is, there's always that guy with a hearthstone. Not here. We really set out in the Maw, in the outdoor space, to build an environment that matches the fantasy of the space. Where when you go in here, you'll have to have your wits about you, because it's a place that wants to kill you at every corner. There are definitely some lessons drawn from revisiting classic spawning and things along those lines. And it's a chance for us to explore some new types of outdoor world gameplay.
Sounds good.
We have a lot more to say about this at our deep dive panel tomorrow, but I just wanted to tee it up. This is a place that you'll be going to only at max level, and you'll be delving in here to uncover the mysteries of Sylvanas, the Jailer, and much more.
Awesome.
At the center of the Maw,
it's gonna be a raid.
Is this mysterious place called Torghast, Tower of the Damned. Yes, this is the tower that you saw sticking out of the sky above ICC.
Oh, cool, cool.
What does that mean in gameplay
Is it an
terms?
inversion of the ICC?
I would call this our second major feature after Covenants. Because Torghast is a bit different from anything we've seen before. What Torghast is effectively an endless dungeon.
Oh, shit.
It's ever-changing and defies the laws of reality in a lot of ways. Crafting
That's cool.
Torghast, we looked for inspiration to a lot of our favorite roguelike games. And what does that mean? It means environment.
You can do it solo. Shit.
And we create this experience.
That's cool. That's so cool.
Or with friends. If you want a sense of endgame progression that is meaningful and challenging, that doesn't require bringing a group with you.
I wonder what kind of rewards do you get for doing it, though?
If you want to bring your friends with you, don't say no. You can do that too. As you ascend the tower on visits that will change from run to run, from visit to visit, you can earn permanent upgrades that you can take out with you, but also on the course of your visit, you'll be able to absorb powerful concentrations of anima that massively change and enhance your powers.
Sounds like Azerite power again.
It allows us to offer huge upgrades, transformative things that make each visit different from the next. You can play to your strength, shore up your weaknesses, and much more. This is the thing we're going to talk a lot more about tomorrow, just teeing it up here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
A choice that you may be faced with early on in your journey into Torghast. Let's say you're playing
Flame Shock will last forever.
Upgrades. Do you want some, passive damage and healing, which of course everyone wants?
Damn.
Or a permanent transformative upgrade to one of your abilities that will last throughout the rest of your journey. A different journey might offer different options and different upgrades. None is going to be quite like the others.
Crazy.
The interior of Torghast definitely calls upon
looks like ICC.
Around Citadel and elsewhere, though as you ascend to the higher reaches of the tower, who knows what you're going to find.
Cool. It looks awesome.
We have 8 dungeons on offer.
Damn.
4 for level up, 1 in each zone. Each of these dungeons, of course, comes with the normal modes: Heroic, Mythic, Mythic Plus, with all new affixes coming for each season in Shadowlands. And 4 max level dungeons. One of my favorites I want to call out here, there's this dungeon called The Other Side, or The Other Side in our
The Other Side?
Which is a pocket dimension, home to none other than everyone's favorite Loa, Wansambi.
Oh, yeah! That sounds cool.
So he's been quite the trickster, and we've never really known exactly whose side he's on, or what he's up to, who he serves. And
that'd be cool.
This is going to give us a chance to explore that.
A whole dungeon to sort of go through that whole sort of
characters coming out of Azeroth, and of course, he is rooted in the Shadowlands. We also have a 10-boss raid at
Wow,
launch
that's pretty
called
big.
Castle
Shit.
Nathria. This was a super fun project for our dungeon team and our encounter designers. Like, the ask was literally just build Dracula's castle, make it a raid. It
That's awesome.
kind of writes itself. It's going to be pretty awesome. Here's an early layout as we're starting to figure out how it's going to flow. You'll come in the main front door of the castle for once you're not coming in through the sewer. And it's a winged raid, so you'll have a choice
cool.
of descending into the catacombs or exploring the royal quarters, each of which have 3 more bosses. Once you've cleared both of those wings, the upper reaches of the castle will become available as you ascend to the upper spire to face the lord of the castle himself.
Yeah, that looks awesome.
Okay, so talked a lot about content.
Here we go.
Let's talk a little bit about systems. Again, I'm going to touch on some things briefly here that we're going to get into greater detail about tomorrow with the deep dive. But first off, as we've thought about all of these things, our core philosophy, a central pillar, has been we want to increase player agency. We want to give all of you
What's that mean?
a feeling of more control over your destiny.
Yeah.
Whether that's in how you play your class, whether that's in how you chase the rewards that you want. We've heard a lot of your feedback. We've been hearing this for a while, and it hasn't fallen on deaf ears, I promise. I want to give a few examples of how this philosophy is influencing some of our decisions, and we'll have many more to follow. You know, big expansion systems and the nuances of how loot works, these are things we're going to keep iterating
In the
on
deep
over
dive.
the course of development.
Oh, no.
So
Yeah.
I don't have a fully fleshed out answer to provide right now, but I want to give you a direction of how we're thinking.
Cool.
So one simple example first. Professions. So right now,
Are we
if
gonna
you
get some
are
more
a
changes?
leatherworker or a blacksmith or a tailor,
Ooh, we
you
are
wanna
too.
make a pair of legs for yourself to wear using raid materials, you probably have a couple of stats in mind. Let's say you want crit haste pants. And so you're crafting, and whoops, you got mastery versatility pants. And you craft and craft and salvage and craft until you get the ones you want. Why does it have to be that way? What if you could take a crit gem and a haste gem and add them as optional materials to your craft? And
That's
be
cool.
guaranteed to get a crafted item with the secondary stats you
That's
want.
cool. That's cool.
So it's a small example. I realize that's not, fixing professions, but we also do very much want to make the armor crafting professions relevant in a deeper way at endgame. The weekly loot chest. Okay, is there any more hated example of RNG in World of Warcraft today? Right? You've done your Mythic Keystone, you filled your Conquest bar, you go to open this chest, and you're pulling from a loot table that has like 100 plus items and hoping that you get the item that you want in the slot that you want with the stats that you want, and hopefully it's sockets and Warforges or even Titan Forges, and then maybe you can wear it. And most of the time, after the first few weeks of a season, you're probably walking away disappointed. And that sucks. Because the point of that is to be a major reward moment. It's a payoff for something that you did in the past
it's a
week.
challenge, you know.
And because of randomness, that's falling short. And it's an example of randomness gone too far. Randomness can be healthy, but there are places where it really is excessive. We're looking at pulling that back where possible.
That's cool.
So what
It's
if
positive.
instead of the loot chest,
Positive changes.
there was some other device, some contraption that measured the things that you'd done, that had some sense of how many dungeons you'd done, of what difficulty
Achievements?
or what your PvP rating was, or what bosses you'd bonus rolled. And it could instead materialize or create one of a list of items. And instead of clicking the chest and it spitting out a random item, you saw 5 or 6 options to choose among. And you could pick the one
That's
you wanted most.
awesome. Yep. They're killing it.
That's the kind of
They're
thing we're
killing
aiming
it.
for, with also some universally relevant fallback option if you don't like any of those items, so that you always at least feel like you made some progress towards some goal instead of walking away disappointed.
That's awesome. That's honestly awesome.
Legendaries. So, okay, here's the thing. Legion legendaries were super fun. They were exciting items that transformed your gameplay. 99% of the complaints that we heard about Legion legendaries were in how they were obtained. Having the Power Blast bracers was awesome. It made you play differently as a Fire Mage, and it was strong. Having Prydas, when the other Fire Mage in your raid group had the Power Blast bracers, and having nothing you could do to change that, did not feel awesome. So, we want to bring legendaries back in Shadowlands. But rather than have them be randomly obtained, we want them to be something that you can work towards actually crafting through your work in Torghast.
Okay. Oh, okay. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, that sounds good.
You are earning access to legendary powers and then building the
Less
legendary
RNG.
that suits your gameplay style, working towards that goal. Then once you accomplish it, picking the next goal you want to work towards and doing so.
That's awesome.
Last, classes. So this is a little bit different from agency in other ways, but we've moved in the last few years pretty heavily away from broad class identity to a point where an arcane mage and a fire mage may have more that sets them apart than they have in common. And when you all picked the character you wanted to make, whether it was a week ago or 15 years ago, you chose to be a hunter or a rogue or a priest for some specific reason, not a marks hunter or a subtlety rogue or a discipline priest. And increasingly, that's been overly compartmentalized in ways that have restricted your ability to play
Look,
the
they're
class
making great
the
changes,
way
I'm
you
not going to lie.
class. So we're going to talk about this a lot tomorrow at the
Cool.
deep dive panel.
Cool.
And
I'm
this
keen
means
for the
in
deep
some
dive.
cases,
This has got me hyped for the deep
abilities that
dive.
become spec specific and bring them back to being class-wide. In other cases, it means returning abilities that were taken away altogether.
Hell yes. Hell
So
yes.
talking about this,
It's great.
so sharing this at length tomorrow at our deep dive panel will be my colleague Brian Halinka, or as I like to call him, Halinka the Unpruner.
The unpruner.
Okay. Gonna go kind of quickly since too much time left, but leveling. So you may notice that I've said max level a whole bunch of times in this presentation. I haven't said a number. And some of you who've made it to our demo may have noticed, what the heck, I'm level 50. You're level 50. So
Oh shit, they did the level squish. They fuck.
existing 120 characters are 50, everything scaled smoothly in between, and you will level from 50 to 60 in the Shadowlands. Why are we doing this? Why these numbers?
Shit, okay.
Ultimately, it's about making the experience better paced. We have hundreds of hours of content that we've built in the game over the last 15 years. We don't want it to take hundreds of hours to get to max level. We want to speed up the rate at which you level.
True.
to get into endgame and give you more freedom and options in how you do that. But if you're getting a level literally every 10 minutes along the way, that starts to feel a bit silly. So this number allows us to better match the content that we have that should be experienced on the way to max level, and also get back to a place where every level, every time you fill that bar, gives you something, because this is an RPG. And
But is it going to be the same XP amount required to get to 50? Because I feel like that's not going to be as satisfactory if it takes drastically longer to level up.
We also have a
Like it
brand new
feels
player
like
zone
you do.
to show off some of the best of modern World of Warcraft to new players. And on your alts, we want to give you the option to play through the storyline of any single expansion in its entirety to get you from 1 to 50. If you want to play through Pandaria, play through the whole thing, and then go to Shadowlands.
That's cool. Okay. Okay. You're winning me over.
Okay. A different type of agency. Agency of self-expression. Want to talk a little bit about visual character customization, character appearances.
Why is everyone getting excited?
Right? Like, everyone here, you have this powerful connection to your WoW character. I've seen people
We're getting expanded character customization.
messing with hairstyles, picking the exact look,
Come on.
the exact facial expression, because that's your avatar in the game. That's your connection to the world. We always want to do better there. We always want to increase the fidelity. We want to give more options. And so in recent expansions, we've done things like add allied races or improve the combat animations. This time around, our focus is on improving the customization that's available to the original World of Warcraft.
Yes.
Now, what I want to share with you, I'm going to share with you a few examples of our work in progress.
This can be awesome.
Here is just to give more options than ever before, so that you can actually look and feel like you want to feel, and different from the others around you.
Oh, this is gonna be dope. This is so much what I want.
Let's take a look at some of what's in store. Trolls. So.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
For trolls, we want to give you options for different skin colors, hairstyles, tusk shapes, piercings, body paint, tattoos, and also amazing things like the ability to set your eye color different from the look of your face.
That's cool. That's cool.
I don't know. It's 2020. The technology is finally there. What can I say? Dwarves. So
Damn, they are going full
similarly,
on.
if you want
That's cool.
You want that wild hammer look, go for it. Different skin colors, hair colors, and more. Maybe you play an undead.
Oh wow. Okay.
And you don't want all of your bony parts sticking out of your flesh.
I feel like they're the Chinese models where they're not allowed
last,
that.
but certainly not least in my examples, humans. Perhaps
Oh wow.
Perhaps you play a human in World of Warcraft.
That's crazy.
Wish that you could play a character that looks and feels a little bit more like you.
Yeah, that's cool.
So,
that's really cool. That's really
this is the tip
cool.
of the iceberg. We have many more examples to come, and this is something really that's an endless process of improvement for us, but this is a first step. Finally, one more small thing. I mentioned earlier that Bolvar and his Death Knights are very important to this battle.
New Death Knight starting area.
And so what better time to bolster the ranks of Death Knights than now?
Wait, can everyone be a Death Knight?
Everyone can be a Death Knight.
Yes! Yes!
Volterra, go nuts.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
All right, that's all I got for now. Thank you so much for joining me on this whirlwind tour of Shadowlands. Lots more information.
That's
tomorrow.
awesome. That is epic. They nailed it.
Right here tomorrow, we'll have our deep dive panel at 11, just before noon, and then Q&A and developers' tales later in the day. Enjoy BlizzCon. Have a wonderful weekend. I love you all.
All right, guys. Well, wow. That was some absolute info dump like crazy. Where to start? Jeez. New zone looks great. New leveling experience sounds great. The covenants sound cool. I hope they don't restrict a lot of the cosmetics to what you choose, because obviously my cosmetic design for, say, maybe my main isn't necessarily the kind of faction that I want to join. I don't want to join a faction based purely on the cosmetics. I hope that you can unlock them somehow, whether through rep or some other sort of mechanic. Raids look cool, dungeons look cool. I dig the level squish is cool, but I am a little bit. I want to see the numbers on the XP. The fact that they said you can basically get to max level just by doing one expansion's content sounds awesome. Maybe that they have like super squished the XP down, so you're not actually spending, you know, forever getting levels. Which, yeah, I'm all for. That sounds incredible. I might actually be able to level up all my alts again. The whole leveling alts through endgame, getting all the rewards and stuff, that's epic. There's so much stuff. The character customization, the you know, legendaries, the endless tower, which sounds great for just a time killing thing. Like, honestly, they've nailed it. I was really honestly concerned that I wouldn't enjoy what they'd bring to Shadowlands. I am interested to see more of the story stuff. Obviously, we'll learn more in the deep dive, and see sort of more of the intricate sort of systems and how they work. So I'll probably do some sort of my final impressions after that, and yeah. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. If you got it this far, that's damn impressive, and I am greatly appreciative. So let me know what you think in the comments. Do you like what they've shown? Do you have any other opinions on systems that they've implemented and how they're going to work? Obviously, we don't know everything yet, but as always, guys, I love you so much. Thank you for sticking around and supporting me and being here to make it all worthwhile. See ya.